Empathy is an emotion for the poor. And the more we collectively start having awakenings and start realizing things, the more we realize that collective hard work does not equal collective equal prosperity. The more we realize that everything is a scam, we are all enslaved, the more we realize that we're trapped. And the elites are not hiding it anymore. Somewhere along the lines, they figured out, oh crap, the peasants have figured out what we were doing all along. And then a little bit later, they realized, well, what are they gonna do about it? They can't escape. They can protest all they want. They have to go back to their 9 to 5. They have to go back to their normal lives because the system is set up so solidly. While everyday people have to work 10 times, if not 100 times harder, just to simply own a place to live, just to simply eat, maybe save some money for their children to go to college one day so they can go on a holiday once a year, buy some nice things every now and then, and if they break the law, or if they didn't break the law, they are faced with big consequences. While the elites, well, they can party all they want. They can have pizza, they can have walnuts, they can have cheese and ice cream, they can have whatever it is that they like. I'm going to share this with you guys. This is from the Federal Bureau of Investigation Intelligence Bulletin, and these are code words and terminology used by pedophiles to identify sexual preferences. Let's have a look. Hot dog is boy, pizza is girl, cheese is little girl, pasta, little boy, ice cream is male prostitute, walnut, person of color, map, semen, and source equals orgy. So they figured out these code names, and it's funny. Well, actually, it's not funny. It's horrendous. It's disgusting, but it's uncanny that they have used these code words literally everywhere. In interviews.
Her parties are incredible at her house, too.
Yeah, she does have good parties, and she makes good pizza as well.
She makes great pizza,
Wonderful pizza.
Known each other for years.
Yeah.
You've been to my house. We've had pizza. Girl after my own heart. Do we love a pizza or what? We love a pizza. We do. It's so good. It's so much fun.
In their Oscar ceremonies, on the red carpet.
To show my appreciation, I am inviting you all to a pizza party tonight at Jennifer Aniston's house. I'll see you there.
Guess what? Pizza's here. You want the whole box? Really? Sandy, you have money. You've got a lot of money. You can tip him, right? Where's Harvey Weinstein? Harvey. No pressure, only 1 billion people watching. Whatever you feel is right.
They have little banters with each other.
You told a story about going and having pizza at the Clooney's in Lake Wiltshire.
Yeah, that's all an Aniston thing. She's like, George and I would love you to come over for pizza, buddy.
Oh my God.
Right.
How was the pizza? Was it good?
Oh, what?
Did he make
Amal's pizza was better than Clooney's. They both made, everybody made a certain kind of pizza.
There's no pizza we didn't love.
Something that he does.
5 different kinds. 5 different kinds or 6 different kinds of pizza. And Clooney's was excellent.
These weird inner jokes, speaking in codes, it's been around. It hasn't just been around this year. It's been around for decades. While you are receiving a $300 parking fine or getting chased down the street by ICE for doing literally nothing wrong, the elites are having pizza for dinner. The elites are doing whatever the it is that they want and suffer 0 consequences. Trump is still Trump. All these high ballers, high profilers are still probably in their mansions. Most of them have not been sent to jail. There's World War III, IV, V going on. There are children being sacrificed. The elites are worshipping the devil. Most of these powerful people, scientists, some Nobel Award-winning scientists, PDFs, but Jeffrey Epstein, okay, ladies and gentlemen, Jeffrey Epstein, a billionaire, one of the most well-connected men on earth that became rich out of nowhere. Connections to presidents, other politicians, famous people, some of the smartest people in the world, scientists, Nobel Prize winners. He's friends with other billionaires, multi-millionaires. He's a narcissist. He's a quote-unquote master manipulator, quote-unquote the smartest man, always the smartest man in the room, highly intelligent, dies in jail, takes himself out. Footage is missing that night. Guards were asleep. Evidence of Epstein's drawn up escape plan found in his cell. A weird amount of blankets. He just had a weird large amount of blankets in his room. There are footages of him insinuating that he would never commit suicide.
I had extra almond joy bars.
Did you eat almond joy bars and things like that because you're afraid of what the cooks did to your food?
Yes.
Is that because you were in for the crimes that you were in for?
No. In fact, I was...
Is it because you're wealthy?
Yes.
Rumors of him being a Mossad agent, a secret spy, trying to blackmail all the powerful people. Yeah. You don't need me to tell you that this doesn't add up. I've done a month of research just looking into the Jeffrey Epstein case. Not only is it depressing, it's like a bottomless pit, a bottomless hole. That's just information after information after information, just when you think, oh, things can't possibly get worse. No, it does. It keeps getting worse. It keeps getting worse. I don't know if this is a way of them making us desensitized to it, because if there's anything that we know about the news, it's to create more fear, more confusion, more anxiety, more desperation, fear-mongering most of the time, less about education and actually a solution. It's more about messing with your emotions. But yeah, this whole thing just kills my brain cells, because we know some of it, but we will never know what actually happened, because they've released, like, I would say probably like 40% max of actually what happened. And then with AI coming out, like, AI was invented ages ago. I'm pretty sure in like the 1950s, but I mean like AI that we can use, Gemini, OpenAI, ChatGPT, this type of stuff. The AI that we can use and the AI that we can generate photos with and all this artificial intelligent thing, this came out in about 2022 for the public. This is when we could get our hands on it. It's funny how that came out before that they released the Epstein case, all this controversy going on. Now we don't know what's fake news and what's real news. It's also killing our drive to actually watch the news, because when we're online and we don't know what's real and what's not real anymore, it's a slow desensitization. It's like slowly working your immunity to not care. You become immune to BS and you don't care anymore. When you have to question absolutely everything you see now, even on your phone, you start not to want to engage. You start not wanting to trust anyone, even though God says trust thy neighbor. But this world has always pitted every single human against each other, not just women against women. Everyone's pitted against each other now, everything. I'm probably pitted against my water bottle right now. ChatGPT and all this AI stuff came out before the Epstein case. Now no one's even trusting what they see in the Epstein's files. How do we know what's real? How do we know what photo is real, what photo is not real? How do we know who's talking in this video? So much fake news online recently, so much AI generated BS. Like, these people, this AI thing has made up news now. Fake news reporters that are reporting fake news with hundreds of millions of views and millions of likes on fake news. It's funny, let's think about that who are we to get our hands on AI for free? When things are free, you're the product. When things are free, you're the experiment. Don't forget that. There are beautiful things that are free, actually, like nature and this and that, but this type of stuff that are free, you are a dummy for believing that this actually benefits you. You think it's making your life easier, but it's actually making you dumber and more stupid and more impatient. And it was given to us before the Epstein case. Anyway, food for thought. Let's ruminate around that, but this whole thing just makes me feel dumb. The line of reality, the line is starting to blur between what's real and what's not. There's so many conspiracies. Some make sense, some are just complete whack. Are they telling the truth? Are they getting views? Do they work for Trump? Where do they come from? It's like the more you know about this whole file, the less you actually know. I don't know anything. I know some things, but I don't know anything. It's blurring my mind. It's making me angry and sad. This is what I do know. If this is how we collectively feel, and this is how this makes us feel, we all collectively just feel angry and defeated and annoyed and lost, yet hopeless at the same time. I do know for a fact that that is the goal. And they wanted this result. And all I know is that the victims are real. Their stories, what they went through, I know that's real. I know the pain is real. I know the suffering is real. I know that Jeffrey Epstein and all these people involved in the case, I know that they are evil. What they did is wrong. They're evil. And that is why we have to keep talking about it. For the justice of these victims. For justice in general. So perhaps the future generation can have a better time. Early investigations from the 2000s, there's about 35 to 36 identified victims. At least 136 women received compensation out of the released files, which suggested over 1,000 victims may have been identified overall. More recently, lawyers say that they represent 200 plus alleged victims. For those who are confused with the timeline, I'm going to break this down very simply for dummies like myself. Jeffrey Epstein was born on January the 20th in Brooklyn, New York, 1953. In 1970s, he began teaching at a Dalton school in Manhattan. This man got into like this elite private school with no credentials, no teaching background. He started teaching and then he started failing to teach the children correctly because this man is a con artist. He has no credential in properly educating. His strategy from the very beginning, be around rich people. He wanted to be around powerful people. He didn't come from a rich family. He came from a normal to slightly poor / working class family. He didn't come from a great background, but he had the drive. He had the ambition to be around rich people and educated people. He wasn't that himself, but he was incredibly manipulative. So he's first, I guess, one of his first attacks was this grand private school. He wanted to mesh in with the cool kids. When I say cool kids, I mean cool kids. There's been reports of him being creepy with the kids, especially the young girls of the school. Later on, the teachers caught onto his drift and he was kicked out. He was fired, but that's the beginning of what we know. In the late 1970s, he moves into finance, working for Bear Stearns, eventually funding his own financial management firm, J. Epstein and Co. Alleged criminal activities begun in early 2000s when Epstein begins allegedly recruiting underage girls for sexual exploitation, often promising modeling or money to their families. Not only did he promise modeling contract, money for the families, he gave some of them apartments to live, he gave some of them their own personal credit cards, he bought some of them fancy clothes and bags and jewelry, funded some of them to even go to college. And in 2005, a parent in Palm Beach, Florida reports to the police that Epstein molested her 14-year-old daughter. So in 2006 was Jeffrey Epstein's first legal case, okay? He's been a creep probably all his life. He started teaching in his 20s. Who knew what kind of a monster he was when he was younger than that? But his first legal case was in 2006. He would be in his early 50s by this time. So in 2006, the Palm Beach Police Department investigates Epstein. Detectives identify dozens of underage victims. He pleads guilty in Florida to soliciting prostitution from a minor. Serves 13 months in county jail. He's done this for like his whole adult life, probably. And at the age of 50, he gets caught with soliciting prostitution from a minor, meaning just one, and goes to jail for only 13 months. He serves 13 months in county jail with work release privileges, allowing him to leave 12 hours a day, 6 days a week. He had privileges that other prisoners didn't have. It's not like he was working really hard. It's not like he was reflecting. It's not like he was changing and being resurrected into a better person. He was just roaming free, probably chatting up other people, probably thinking about, oh, that's right, plotting for his Epstein Island and becoming a bigger creep. Many believe this plea was extremely lenient and allowed him to avoid federal charges, despite extensive evidence of a sex trafficking network. Epstein's second arrest happened on July the 6th, 2019, on federal charges of sex trafficking minors. Charges detail recruiting girls as young as 14, paying them for sexual acts and sometimes coercing them to recruit other underage girls. August the 10th, 2019, Jeffrey Epstein is found dead in his federal jail cell at Metropolitan Correction Center in New York. His death is ruled a suicide by hanging. The aftermath was Ghislaine Maxwell, Epstein's long-term associate, was arrested in July 2020 and later convicted of multiple charges related to sex trafficking minors, including recruiting and grooming girls for Epstein. Honestly, after looking into everything, I'm ruling out all the crazy conspiracy theories. I don't think that Epstein was a Mossad agent. I don't think that he was a spy. I don't think that he is sent from Russia to be a pedophile and go work at these elite schools and be creepy with children, and he's still alive. All these secret government agencies or whatever gave him billions of dollars and funded his pedophilic lifestyle to get back at these elites and these powerful people to blackmail them. I don't believe any of that. I truly don't. I don't think he was a Mossad agent. I don't think he was sent from anyone but the devil himself. And I don't think he's alive. I do, however, believe he did not commit, that he was taken out. Hence, the footages are not available. The cameras were shut off. There's a very interesting video broken down by Dr. G. He does like an expert analysis on it. It's interesting if you want to check it out, but I looked into it, and the more I looked into it, the more the Mossad agent and the spy thing slash sacrificing thousands of victims in this quote-unquote spy mission just doesn't make logical sense. They took him out. I don't know who. Most likely the powerful people took him out to prevent further exposure, to prevent further truth coming out of Epstein's mouth. I just don't think that it's logical for them to pile his entire cell with blankets so he could hang himself. You know, jails have this system, have this prevention around suicide. It just doesn't make sense. It seems all planned out. It seems mapped out to take out Epstein. I believe that he is gone. I don't know why people think that he's still alive. I don't know what purpose he would have if he was still alive. I don't know what good he would serve for the elites if he was still alive. The secrets are out. The most logical thing to do is for him to leave planet Earth. It's for him to be executed. That's the most logical plan. I don't think Epstein is here anymore. It's not impossible for someone, for a nobody, for a creep to become a billionaire. I don't believe that's impossible. That's unlikely. It's incredibly rare, but it's possible. There's a lot of weirdos that became presidents and prime ministers and leaders of the world. There's a lot of people that came from absolutely nothing into absolutely everything. Oprah, self-made billionaire. We have Chairman Mao in China, who was literally a nobody, came from literal poverty, that became Chairman Mao, did horrendous things throughout history. I mean, I guess he liberated China in a way, but he came from nothing, became everything through, I guess, hard work and intelligence. These types of people, not all of them are creeps, but a lot of them are very psychopathic. These people are able to acquire great wealth and status and power and literally become presidents and billionaires in their lifetime. I don't think Jeffrey Epstein's wealth is boom, bam, magical. I don't believe that. I don't know why people are saying it's impossible to acquire wealth, to be a billionaire coming from nothing. I don't know why people are saying that. I don't know why people are being so political about his wealth. People like Jeffrey Epstein and the other examples I've given are able to acquire great wealth in their lifetime. That's not unheard of. So I do think that he's just a creep. I believe that he's deeply, deeply manipulative. You have to be intelligent, of course, also very incredibly sociopathic and I guess psychopathic to do that. But I don't think it was a Mossad plan and this country getting back at that country and got a pedophile to go into the picture. Absolutely not. I think he acquired it through manipulation, through greed. He was charismatic and charming, knew how to work people, understood the nature of humans, and he worked his way up.
One thing that I forgot to mention while I was filming was that this whole Mossad thing and this whole spy thing is like an excuse from these powerful people that got scammed by Epstein. It's like an excuse for them because they are looked up to by the majority as smart and scheming and calculating and preventative with errors and issues. You know, they are so great, they are so rich, they are so smart. They had to have seen him coming, right? Wrong. Most of these elites are really stupid. And when I say stupid, I mean detached from reality. Okay, they're not as smart. Sure, they are smart in their own fields, but they're not as smart as people paint them to be. So when they can't comprehend that they got scammed by a PDF, they start throwing out headlines like, Epstein is a Mossad agent, Epstein is a spy, to protect their own reputation of being so dumb and detached from reality that they didn't catch on to the schemes that Epstein was selling. Epstein played them. Epstein played everybody. Epstein wasn't some Mossad agent they're trying to sell this story that, no, we can't be dumb. He has to be that smart. This was so deeply calculating that they had to paint him as a spy so they can accept reality. They have to make up reality to accept reality. No, sometimes things are just that simple. Epstein was a con artist. These billionaires and powerful people were PDFs. They were greedy. They were creeps. They were lusty. They were gross. They played into Epstein's game. Victims were unhappy. Exposés came out. They couldn't handle the truth. Hence, the stupid conspiracy theories.
If you actually looked into the Epstein files, if you actually read the Epstein files or watched documentaries of actual breakdowns, not just conspiracy theories and just stories from the news, I'm talking if you actually read the analysis of it, Epstein didn't blackmail anyone that much. There was barely any blackmail. Yes, some words were said in certain ways. It was cryptic, it was spoken in codes, but there was rarely any blackmail. And if you looked into it, Jeffrey Epstein never asked for money from anyone. He never blackmailed anyone for money. He didn't ask Bill Clinton for money. People were coming to him for financial advice. If you actually look through it, you would pick up that people were coming to Epstein to ask for financial advice because he acquired his actual wealth through sex trafficking, kind of like what the Tate brothers did actually. Sex trafficking, money laundering, building connections with people, doing business deals. That's how he actually truly acquired his wealth. He didn't do much blackmailing. The darkest thing about this whole rise to fame and power was how he used vulnerable and innocent children in this whole scheme. He used them, he manipulated them for connections because he knew what these rich and powerful people wanted. He knew how to use certain people and things to get into certain groups and make people like him and make people trust him. It was about building trust. It was about fulfilling dirty desires. It was giving people what they could never have. It was to give people their disgusting pleasures. From what I gathered, he was a master manipulator. He knew what he wanted. He knew what he enjoyed. He knew who he wanted to hang out with. He knew what kind of life he wanted to live. He was shameless and ruthless. He just walked around with these underage girls. He walked around into public with them. He never overtly tried to hide it that much. He was very open with how he lived his life. He was not shameful or scared at all about what he was doing. He gave people the feeling, he played it really well. He gave people the feeling that he was fearless, right? I'm so rich that I can go into public with these girls following me. I'm so rich and powerful, there's nothing they can do about it. He packaged himself and sold himself in a way to all these other really wealthy and rich people to show them this is wealth. This is true wealth. True wealth is not having a mega yacht and having caviar for dinner every night. True wealth is I can go out into public with underage children the majority knows damn well what I've done and I can still walk out jail free. That is true power. That is true wealth. Okay, so he sold that image to all these other creepy rich people and they bought it. And hence why a lot of them didn't do background checks. Because why would you? The eyes don't lie, right? You see everything you believe, right? So a lot of people didn't doubt anything from him. And we mentioned earlier that he briefly worked at Bear Stearns and gained a reputation for handling wealthy clients. He worked in Wall Street. He began his career in investment banking. He marketed himself as a financial genius. Epstein claimed that he only worked with clients who had over $1 billion in assets, implying he was selective and highly competent. He also claimed that he had unique strategies for preserving wealth across generations, though details of his actual investment methods remain vague. He was discreet. He emphasized he values privacy above all. He was vague. He was very cryptic. He wasn't loud. He was very quiet and calm and composed, very charming, very funny. He understood what powerful men wanted. To get into the boys' club, he knew what they desired. And because he marketed himself as one of the smartest men in the room, he started to get Nobel Prize winners. He started to get all these rich people around him. He not only is now rich and powerful, he also seems very, very intellectual. Because why would scientists and Nobel winners hang out with him? It's not because they were hungry and they wanted pizza and ice cream. It's because they actually think Jeffrey Epstein was smart, right? At a certain time, it was reported that whatever Epstein said, because he groomed everybody around him, made them so happy and felt so much pleasure, you can imagine how and why. He was actually, for a while, who billionaires went to for financial advice, and sometimes, like I mentioned, money lending, like a bank. And he was so influential, not because he was blackmailing them, because he made them feel so great and so powerful and so pleasurable. People really liked him. People went to him like he was some financial guru. He placed himself above the Rothschilds, or at least on the same level. He lied. He straight out lied. He straight out manipulated. He said whatever it is that he thinks people wanted to hear. He hooked people in with every single tactic. He was like the Rothschilds in these people's eyes. For a little while, he moved the economy. He really did. Epstein was able to get himself involved in geographical events. He somehow crawled his way into everything, into science, into researches, into philanthropy and charities, all these grand parties, the financial world, the actor world, the entertainment industry. He got himself into everything. He was the ringleader, which is why people thought that he was a Mossad agent, because they couldn't grasp the concept of how someone could be so powerful. They couldn't grasp it, but I guess it takes a real evil, manipulating psychopath, aka Jeffrey Epstein. There's gotta be 1 in 8 billion, and that just happened to be him. I don't believe that it's impossible for someone to be so powerful and social climb so high in this lifetime. I don't think that's impossible. A lot of people have done it, whether if it's through hard work or academia, or actual talent, actual intelligence, wisdom. But Jeffrey Epstein, he just happened to get there and have the same amount of status, but through being evil. That's how you do it, through being evil. And he did it, he got up there. I don't think it's impossible, I think it's rare, but this is Jeffrey Epstein's way. But a lot of conspiracy theorists and a lot of people and a lot of other influencers are speculating that certain events or media coverage act as distractions from the full scope of the Epstein's activities, especially regarding who else might have been involved. Like, for example, the elite network angle. Epstein's connections included politicians, celebrities, royalty, and business leaders. Conspiracy theories argue that authorities or the media may have emphasized other topics to avoid public scrutiny of these powerful figures. Possible, but they took him out. They took Epstein out. The way to shut up everything was to take Epstein out, and I think that's what they did because they were afraid that he might speak. I don't think that Jeffrey Epstein would be alive. What would he be alive for? Who on earth would protect him? He's not a Mossad agent. He's not a spy. He's just a manipulative, psychopathic con artist that did evil things. I don't know what and who would protect him. For him to be in jail was actually the protection. The CIA or the Secret Service or whoever was actually trying to keep him there, to protect him, to hammer him for more questions. To take him out, I believe, was what the elites did. They took him out. What other distraction are we talking here? If this was a distraction, what would this be a distraction for? It could be timing of events. Some believe that events like the release of sensational but peripheral news, other high-profile scandals, or even Epstein-adjacent deaths were timed to shift public attention away from the deeper files and evidence. For example, Ghislaine Maxwell's arrest or selective reporting on certain lawsuits can make it seem like the narrative is being curated rather than fully transparent. I don't even feel like this is a distraction at this point. I feel like this is mass desensitization. Desensitized to crimes, to be desensitized to our empathy and emotions, to logical thinking, because when there's so much noise, you can't think clearly. I don't even think this is a distraction. I think that's just way too simple, because it's like, what is it distracting us from exactly? We all know about the war that's going on. If you're not born yesterday, you know about all the disgusting and dirty things that's happened throughout history of what the elites have been doing. We are not new to this game. We all know of the dark things. I mean, the only way down here is it gets darker or it gets more repetitive, but we know, at least, if we don't know everything, we have a gist of how evil the world can be. We know that presidents are making deals probably behind our backs right now as we speak. We know that they are going to constantly be unpredictable and plan out things that don't really care about humanity, and it's about money and power. We know that there's still pedophilia going on right now as we speak. We know all this. Like, even if we don't see it on the news, we know. I don't believe this is a distraction, because it's like, there's nothing to distract. We know everything. I believe this is desensitization. This is to further heavy our hearts, harden our hearts. You guys wanted the files. Here's 30-40%. Shut up now, breadcrumbing us with news that kind of makes sense but don't. It's more to create mass confusion and desensitization rather than actually the truth and to serve justice. They still have power. Breadcrumbing, here you go. We still have power and money, and you don't, and you are now more scared, more depressed. Shut up and get on with your life. The world goes on. It's not a distraction. It's not a freaking conspiracy. That's how simple it is. Epstein actually didn't really have a pattern. He left evidence everywhere. He didn't work in a way that had a deeper meaning. He was hiding and lurking in the dark. He did it loud and proud. The way that Jeffrey Epstein speaks, it's like he speaks gibberish that makes sense and doesn't make sense at the same time. I watched his entire 2-hour interview uninterrupted.
Something's 1,000 and 990. This person now has to value it at 980.
What do you think human life is?
It's a miracle. I can't explain it, and I make no attempt to explain it at the moment. We don't know how to think about it. And anyone, it's again another one of the Feynman quotes when he was talking about quantum physics. He said, anyone, Jeffrey, who says they understand quantum physics and quantum mechanics and quantum behavior, you know they're lying.
Your life literally is about measurement, is it not?
It's about putting numbers on things so that I can try my best. That you can call it whatever you like. If that makes you feel better.
What do you know?
No, I want to make you happy.
Back to your scientific inquiry.
He's unpredictable. To be powerful is to be unpredictable. He's very unpredictable. He's very random. He doesn't have a pattern. He would say the most randomest things, have the randomest facial expressions out of nowhere. He would go and change into a certain outfit and come back. It's not for any other reason but to throw you off guard.
Did you change glasses?
Yes.
Okay.
I changed shirt.
I saw the black.
Are you okay with the?
Yeah, great. I think we're gonna have all kinds of changes.
I'm experimenting.
Yeah. It's not for any other reason but to be unpredictable. He knew how to be powerful. Not only did he know it, he was evil enough to implement it in the most wicked way.
what are you, class 3 sexual predator?
Tier 1.
Was tier 1's the highest and worst?
No, I'm
The lowest?
I'm the lowest.
You're
Your
the
child's
lowest.
life.
Do you think you're the devil himself?
No, but I do have a good mirror.
It's a serious question.
Sorry.
Do you think you're the devil himself?
I don't know. Why would you say that?
Because you have all the attributes. You're incredibly smart. You remember, the devil is somebody knows.
Smart?
The devil's brilliant. You read Milton's Paradise Lost.
No, the devil scares me.
It feels like the type of conversation that you hear your drunk uncles have on a Sunday afternoon in a backyard barbecue.
Did you change glasses?
Yes.
Okay.
I changed shirt.
I saw the black.
It doesn't sound like an interview. It doesn't sound like a business conference. It doesn't sound like an investigation. Again, it almost feels like it's breadcrumbing. And this is what narcissists do. Talking absolute smack in the interview, giving you just enough for you to pick up on some things, but it's not enough for you to have any evidence. He makes the interviewer laugh. It's a narcissist breadcrumbing to us. You wanted the Epstein files, we'll give you 30 to 40%. That's breadcrumbing. Breadcrumbing information. There should be no confusion because this is their pattern. Being unpredictable is their pattern. And before we go, I just really want to quickly touch on something that I found very interesting throughout my research on the files. Okay, let me put my thinking glasses on. Magnus Carlsen, this is a chess player. He's a very well-trained chess player with very well-trained gut instinct. It's from this interview by Diary of a CEO, top intelligence advisor, Gavin D. Becker. Basically, they talked about how this is very well-trained chess player with very well-trained gut instinct. Gut instinct is basically intuition. Chess is a sport, and famous chess players and really good chess players, and this isn't just, I guess, chess. Your intuition and your gut instinct is so important, especially in competitive sports like chess. A part of his training is to teach you to trust your gut instinct. And most of the time, and this is why I always tell you guys too, always trust your instincts. Now, can our instincts be wrong? Of course. Can it always be wrong? It depends. Are you operating from your emotions or your instincts? Right? Because this is what they train these professionals on. Because gut instinct and intuition is so powerful, and it's what everyone has. Women are apparently reported to have higher, more sensitive intuition than men, which is why the patriarchy try to strip women of their intuition. Numb us, indoctrinate us. That's what they've always done. Strip us of our intuition. Now they do it to men too. Overfeed us with rubbish. Your intuition is something that you can really sense. It's a sensing. It's like an almost knowing. Something that's very spiritual, that's guiding you. People and very high performers in sports like chess and other things, they are trained to have very sensitive gut instincts so they can make the right moves. They can win. They can kind of almost predict because they have trained themselves to know what's right. But emotions, on the other hand, is you're acting out. You're not listening to your instinct. You're listening to how you feel. Intuition is something that you sense. It has wisdom. Whereas emotion lacks wisdom. Emotions is not smart. I really want to let you guys know this because it's like you trust your intuition, you go for it, and then you backtrack. A very simple example, I'm sensing that this person is a great potential friend or a great potential business partner, life partner. I'm sensing that. I'm not feeling it. It's not like, holy crap, I really love him. It's no, I'm sensing this person is right for me. This person makes me feel settled. This person's good for my nervous system. There's something about this person that I'm curious about in a positive way. And then you go for it, and then you begin to backtrack, right? So you go for it, and then you kind of sit back, and then you kind of watch how it plays out. You observe. Whereas emotions is where you jump in, and then you get stuck. You're like, oh crap, I can't backtrack now, or I don't know how to. Okay, but the point of the story is that gut instinct can actually be trained and actually be taught, and it can also be refined. But this world doesn't train you to have better gut instinct. It trains you to be numb. A really interesting thing about this gut instinct thing is that the longer you leave it, the more you second guess yourself and the more you start to lose your intuition. So that also leads to procrastination. They want you to second guess yourself all the time. Even in narcissistic relationships, when you are constantly second guessing yourself, being like, oh, I'm not sure, I don't know, could it be, could it not be, and you're not listening to yourself or the energy around you, or God, I like to say God, but the longer you leave it, your intuition, your gut instinct, the more it will work against you, the more you'll lose it. And it's really scary because that's exactly what they did in the Epstein files. They had someone to come in to teach and gaslight the children into losing their intuition. Can you believe that? They had a specialist to come in, you could almost say hypnotize, gaslight, manipulate the children into thinking the events didn't happen. Why was Jeffrey so confident with what he was doing? Because he knew that there was a way that he could shut these children up. I was going to react, but now I'm going to take a step back and I'm actually going to say, why am I even surprised? Because we think, okay, the funny thing is we think what Jeffrey Epstein did to these children was evil. It was. Definitely. But it's funny because it's exactly what the elites are doing to us, especially the people that are not conscious. They manipulate you into doing porn. They manipulate you to take your clothes off, making you think that it's your body, your choice. They manipulate men into thinking lust is love. You're broke because you didn't work hard enough, not because we're greedy and we don't share prosperity, not because of that, right? Everything that's wrong with you, it's either not real or it's your fault as an individual. I'd like to say what Jeffrey Epstein did was shockingly evil, which it is, but I mean, he's played the same game as how the elites play with us. But this is something that I really wanted to share with you guys. Develop your instinct and trust your instinct. If anyone ever makes you feel like you're in danger and the hair on your freaking back begins to crawl, get the heck out of there. Get out of there, don't question it, and don't ever look back. Trust your instinct, develop your instinct, protect yourself like your life depends on it, because it does. You are the most important thing ever to protect. Protect yourself like you are the most precious thing in the world, because you are. So train your intuition. Hey guys, thank you so much for watching, and like always, like, comment, subscribe, hype this video, send it to as many people as you can. I love you guys so much and see you guys all in the next episode.